Hey everybody, I am Faye Collins. I'm a member of Lively Stone Church, and I am here with one of my favorite people ever, the bishop of all bishops, Bishop Scott. Hello.
Hey, it's good to be here with you.
Good to be here too. So you're a legend to me.
Okay.
This church, the street, all of that, legend to me. But in case someone sees this and they don't know you, can you give us a little bit of info about you?
I am Lee Alexander Scott, and I was born in San Antonio, Texas, from a military couple, Bishop Alfonso Scott and Phyllis Ann Scott, about 50 years ago. And he left there about the age of 8, and my grandfather assigned my dad to go to Nortonville, Kentucky to pastor. And from the age of 8 or so, I was in Nortonville, Kentucky. Grew up there, rural town, very rural. When I got there, there was still white only signs out on water fountains, and very segregated. And so I grew up in that environment. And also I went to Western Kentucky University. It was my sophomore year thereabouts, my grandfather died. Finished that year out and decided to come to St. Louis to serve or to work for the ministry here for my dad, to help him and support him. Been here ever since, and been just serving here at the church, working in the city, trying to make a difference and really help. You know, you've heard me say this all the time. Our goal and mission is to change lives, and so that's what we've been trying to do since we've been here.
Good. So I do have a question for you, and I'm gonna talk to you as if I'm 5.
Okay.
So we know we have a conference every year, and we're now using these things called tracks. Bishop, what is a track? Help me.
Well, a track is to point people in a way that will develop them in a single focus. So let's just take our worship arts track. People who have a desire to develop and grow in worship arts, then you would take that track. Everything in that track or that series of classes would help to develop you in that area. So consider a track like a degree course,
Gotcha.
right? And so whatever degree you're getting, you take the classes to develop. So you're on that track.
Okay.
All right, to become what it is that you're studying. And so we call them tracks, and our goal is to develop individuals to become more prolific in what they are doing and what God has called them to do. We have about 5 to 7 tracks this year, a worship arts track. We actually have a School of Prophecy track. We have a servant leaders track. We're doing our pastors to pastors track. We actually have one track that deals with personal growth, and we entitled that "Living Your Best Life in a Crazy World." And so all these things are dealing with how do I grow in these areas, even if I'm talking about growing me. So everything is designed for that.
Okay, so I was told that the track that you're over is the Pastors to Pastors track. Can you give us a little bit of what to expect from that track for those who are following it, and what you're hoping that they will get from it?
Well, my father has always been about developing pastors and young small churches to be effective and efficient where they are. And one of the things in sitting down and talking with him, it's always been about how do we get these resources to these smaller churches without them having to worry about the overall financial expense of doing and going. And so one of the things that we are focused on is developing that pastor in information. Matter of fact, one of the focuses of the things that we'll be talking about is how are we as pastors going to overcome depression in the Black church? One of the things that we know in the Black church is that depression amongst pastors is rising at an astronomical rate. And so we want to focus on that. This year, or over the last 18 months, we've seen more suicides amongst pastors than any other thing. We're going to talk about it, and we're going to try to help each other. Lively Stone is a church that really believes in equipping people to be successful in Christ. And that's what we want to do. We want to equip you to be able to handle those things. So we have a doctor come in and going to talk to us, because it doesn't matter how strong that pastor looks. You go behind the veil with him, he's going to be dealing with some things. And so we want to talk about that and make sure he's strong and healthy, this pastor.
Okay, so in sticking to that, I know personally a lot of times conversations about mental health can be a little taboo in the church. Why was that important for you to bring it up?
Lively Stone, about 5 years ago, we started focusing more on mental health in the church. One of the things that we learned is that while our faith is in prayer, but the text says faith without works. So even though we're trusting in God, God's still empowering us to do some things. And sometimes we don't know what to do. And that's why we need professionals and other people to partner with to help us walk through these steps so that we can become more healthy. It is challenging. I mean, the weight of ministry right now is so heavy. Not only the weight of ministry is heavy, but let me share something with you, Faith. Pleasing God in this moment is even heavier. Is because we're forced to do some things differently, and it gets us outside of our box. And one of the things that we challenge ourselves with, does this really please God when we do it? And so that weight, especially during a pandemic, it's been really, really crazy. And so mental health for us is very, very important. And always remember, I can't help you if I'm not healthy.
Gotcha.
And so we want to make sure that all pastors are strong and healthy. And one of the things, I talked about this in a class not too long ago, but in the text, Jesus Christ looked at the Jews as the Greeks looked at the principals on the stage, and he called them actors. And because they could not discern the day or the time, he called them actors. Well, the Bible doesn't use the word actors as we would use it. The word is a Greek word, hypokros, which means actors. It was a stage word. It was a dramatic. And so what happens sometimes is that the pastors becomes the principal that's standing before you. Sometimes we can be good actors, and we really need people to help us to be a little bit more genuine, so that I can be good. When you ask me how I'm doing, I'm good, and I'm really good, right? And so we really need to work with each other on that.
Okay. So in case one of your students sees this right now, like you said something about challenging yourself to get out of the box. Right now, because of the pandemic, it has really changed the way that we've had to do church. Whether it be online, physical, dealing with, different vaccines or whatever. You as a pastor, you've been pretty innovative right now in this moment. So what would you say to any pastor that sees this and they feel a little stuck as far as innovation and things like that, and trying to lead as the world is shifting?
One of the things we have to remember as pastors is that there's a core fundamental belief as we are church leaders, right? Church leaders are not building leaders, right? We are people leaders. The people that gather are the people that assemble. In the New Testament, thought was considered church. And so the question is, how do we create an environment that's safe, that works in the pandemic, that people can still assemble? We have to find a way. Yes, we've been using Facebook, we're doing this right now, but one thing I can't do in Facebook I can't touch you. And we underestimate the power of touch. Watch what the woman said. She said, if I can but touch the hem of his garment, then I will be made whole. We have to understand that our wholeness and our completeness is also wrapped in our ability not only to touch God, but be able to touch each other. And so as we're as leaders and pastors in this time, we have to find a way that members still can touch each other and touch God. For we are overcomers by what? The words of our testimony and by the blood of Jesus Christ, which means the words of our testimony are, when I'm able to stand and talk to you this way, it takes away the barrier of the phone. It takes away the barrier of the television set. You can feel my heart. You can feel me right where you are. And so we have to find a way to, and be creative about it, to continue to where we can touch one another and love on one another and still be safe in a pandemic and fight. The Bible says that people would much rather believe a lie than the truth. And I found that out more now, especially during the pandemic, because I can tell people the truth. I mean, I could, the Lord blessed us. We have a person working in the Office of Health, where Fauci is in DC, and we can get information right from the source. But it really doesn't matter. Because people want to believe what they want to believe, And so, and the Bible talks about that. People would much rather believe a lie than the truth. And so this has been a very, very crucial time for us. And that's the reason why pastors need to come together and let's talk about it. And let's make each other strong, because iron sharpens iron.
So, shifting a little bit on the personal note.
Okay.
So I've been under you my whole life. Like I've known you with my youth pastor before you were my bishop. And so I know personally there has been a big mantle on you this year, not just for you, your family, the church, and the fellowship with churches. So as we come together this year for what is a monumental occasion, what do you want us as a family and a body, which is the Lively-Stone Fellowship of Churches, what do you want us to take away from this conference?
We're family. We want to take away our legacy. We want to remember those who walked before us. We want to be empowered through the love of Jesus Christ. And we really want this conference to be the legacy of what we were told to do. One of the things my father would always say to me, let me go back, pandemic hits. And at the beginning of this thing, I was like, we're not closing down our doors. We're going to stay open. I was just fighting hard. And so under wise counsel, I was talking to my team, and they said, you're not going to be able to fight the court of public opinion. And while you may be doing it for the right reasons, it's going to come off wrong. You're better off preserving the integrity of your message. I listened to it. We shut down. I was pretty much in tears. I called my dad. I said, Dad, what do we do? I mean, it's pandemic. What am I going to do? How do you pastor? And that's my question to him. How do you pastor in a pandemic? My dad got quiet. He said, son, the Lord's going to help you. You got it. I'm like, hold on, wait a minute. I'm calling.
That's not steps.
I'm just about in tears. Right? I'm looking for the 5-step process. And he said, son, the Lord is going to have you. You got it. And what he was saying to me is, lean not to your own understanding, but in all thy ways trust the Lord. He shall direct your path. But whatever you do, don't stop moving forward. Trust God. And I believe this conference for me is the first step of continuing. And one thing my father would have never wanted us to quit. He wasn't a quitter. He said that all the time, we're not a quitter. And so no matter how emotional I may get or emotional, regretful I may be, and I use that term because I regret moving forward without my dad. And so I hear language in Bibles, and the Bible begins to come alive to me. And Moses understands that God has taken away his ability to go into the promised land. And he is encouraging his disciples, the one that God has planned in front of them. He's encouraging them to keep moving. And when you get to the promised land, go into the promised land. I'm not going with you. Mm-hmm. But one of the things he said that I thought was encouraging to those people, that though I may not be here with you physically, the symbol of that was, he said, take my bones and carry me in with you, and I'll be here. And I think about that, how although my mom and dad are not here with me physically, I'm with you. And not only is he with me, our grandfather, who is the founder of this great ministry, he's in such a great cloud of witnesses that watches what we do and how we handle the ministry moving forward. And the best thing we can do in honoring them is by making it greater than it's ever been before. And so I'm praying, and my hope is that, number one, we come together. One of the mandates my father said is keep the family together. Keep the family together. And I've been working very hard this year to keep the family together. And this is our time to come together and worship as a family. And yes, they're not with us, but they're with us. And we're going to try to move forward in a way that makes the Lively Stone Fellowship of Churches, the Lively Stone Church of God, the greatest it's ever been. Our mandate is to equip people to be successful in Christ. And the more people we can equip to become successful, then we're doing what God has called us to do. And we're not doing it alone. We're doing it together. And that's the important part of it. So I want people to know that we are family, right? It's our core value here at Lively Stone, right? Love, family, integrity, accountability, equipping, and creativity. And we want people to feel loved, feel welcome. Let's come together, change the world together for the cause of Christ.
So you said we're family.
We're family.
So I got a family question.
Oh, Lord, here we go.
Okay, and I ask this on behalf of every member of Lively Stone.
Yeah.
The last year has been crazy, from pandemic and everything else. You, your sons, your daughter, your wife, you all are some of the hardest working people I have ever seen. So on behalf of the family, Bishop, are you going to take a break anytime soon?
Yes, I see a break coming in the future.
Okay.
It's coming.
In the near future or
it's the near future.
Okay, good.
We're asking, I've come to the realization that while I thought I was doing what was good for me, it may not have been good for me. And so my candle is down to the wick. And so I have to do something to recharge. We talked about being healthy, right? Mm-hmm. And so I want to make sure that I'm healthy for you. I want to be here for you. And so we're gonna do something. Hopefully, every year we have our one family trip. Mm-hmm. But personally, I'm looking to shut myself down and focus on me a little bit to get myself together. This season we're going into, right? Father's Day is coming up. And the week of Father's Day, I don't know if people know this or not, but is the 19th is the day that my mother died. Mm-hmm. right? And it's the day before Father's Day. And so last year, the time that would have been conference is the time that we mourned our mom. And so this conference this year is really more sentimental to us. And then on July the 10th, it's my dad's birthday. On July the 21st, my mom's birthday. On August the 28th is their wedding anniversary. So yeah, this is a tough season for us.
Sure.
So we're gonna get through it by the grace of God, and our staff has been wonderful in supporting us to make sure we're good. But yeah, we're gonna shut down a little bit.
That makes me happy to hear, sir.
Yeah, we're gonna shut down a little bit.
So speaking of shutting down, before we go, do you have any last words about the conference, about the Pastor Track, anything else?
Listen, if you haven't done so already, you wanna be a part of this conference. This is gonna be a life-changing conference, better than any other conference we have. And again, we talked about creativity. We will be having a virtual component of this, and so if you register, then you actually can get access to the tracks virtually if you can't be on site. Register to be a part of this conference, support it, and we're going to be bringing great information to you. And I got an announcement.
Okay.
I got an announcement.
Exclusive.
We actually, I don't have it in my hand, but I wish I did. I would show you. My dad's book just came in. My dad's book just came in, and it was words that's going to encourage you. It's a 365-day devotional, and the title of this devotional is Trusting God When the World is Falling Apart. And so, I mean, it's going to bless your life. This volume is the first of 3 volumes, and we're so happy to have it in our hands. And so, we're going to be releasing it during the conference. And so we are so excited that we have an opportunity to continue to share the words of my father, who's been a blessing to us. So I'm excited. I'm excited.
All right, so that is it. We look forward to seeing everybody here for the Power Conference. Make sure you register, and we'll see you there.